continue on in chapter 1, lesson 1, and we're going to talk about sketching graphs. And I just totally forgot the highlighter. There we go. All right, we talked about slope-intercept form a little. Remember where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept? And we did this already today on our calculators. But let's talk about example 5. Example 5 says determine the slope and the y-intercept of negative 4x minus y plus 5 equals 0, then graph it. Now, I know you have that awesome device that I told you to get, the TI-84. Thinking on your toes really quickly, what would be the easiest way to solve example 5 to put it in slope-intercept form? What do y'all think? Talk to me. Just talk. I would add y. Yeah, I would probably add y. So, good job. I would probably just add y over. Yes, you could add the 4 and subtract the 5, and then you'd have to change the signs and all that. So, we do get y equals negative 4x plus 5. Now, old school. We know how to do this. This is great old Algebra 1. But let's go ahead and talk about it because it's always good to have a refresher. So, where do we start, Luca?
So, you're going to go up 5.
Good. We're going to start on 5, which is the y-intercept. And we're going to put a dot on the y-intercept. From here, what are we going to do, Jacob? Well, no, remember that it's a negative slope. So right here, it's a negative slope. So would I go up or down?
You have to go down.
Good. We're going to go down how many?
4.
Good. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. And over how many? 1. And I don't have my little tick marks. So there we go.
Couldn't you go up and then to the
You
left?
could go up and to the left, but because I don't have the room to do that, we went this way. So remember that a negative slope is like skiing down a hill. We read from left to right. We do have some, you don't have to write all this down. We do have some typical equations that we've talked about in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. The first one is a general form. You guys are used to seeing the C on the right side. For some reason, this curriculum just puts it on the left side, but you're pretty smart with adding and subtracting over the equal sign. We do know that x equals something is a vertical line, where y equals something is a horizontal line. And then the slope-intercept form we talked about today, y equals mx plus b. And point-slope form we talked about yesterday, y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. This one actually tells us to put it in our graphing calculator, and it says use a graphing calculator to graph y equals 4x plus 1 and y equals x minus 1. So let's go ahead and put this in our TI. And we're going to put it in the exact same viewing window, so we're going to put it as the y sub 1 and the y sub 2. And we're just going to talk about these questions. So let's go ahead and put that in first. What do y'all see? The first question says, do the slopes appear similar or different? Different, because we know that one slope, this one over here is a 1, and this one is a 4, right? So one is going to be incredibly steeper, okay? And it says, is this what you expected? Did you expect to see that? What else do you see that's a little different? Did it go through the same y-intercept? No. One went through what? One went through negative 1. The other went through positive 1. Okay? So we probably expected that. We're pretty good with our lines. All right, let's talk about parallel and perpendicular. We already talked about this today, but we might as well continue. Parallel and perpendicular. Okay, parallel, two slopes are the same. And perpendicular, two lines are perpendicular. Oh, I forgot to say this. IFF. Do I not know how to spell, or what does that mean? If and only if. So your math teacher still can spell, but it's if and only if their slopes are equal, and this is if and only if their slopes are the negative reciprocals. So I have a little example down here where negative 2 is equal to 1/2. And we did that one almost exactly today. We did 2 and negative 1/2, right? So what would be the parallel slope to 3/5? 3/5. You're so smart. What would be the parallel slope to 4? What would be the perpendicular slope to 5? Negative 1/5. Good job. Find the slope-intercept form of a line that passes through negative 4, 1 and is parallel. Now, before you write anything down, I want you guys to look up here and get this out of anything, because this always confuses students, okay? You see this right here? Why did they give us this equation? So we could find the slope. They gave us that for one reason. So the first thing we're going to do is solve that for what to find the slope? Y. So let's do that first. First step, Odell.
So the first step of that would be subtract 3y.
We're going to go ahead and subtract. I guess we could have added the 3y over, but we went ahead and subtracted the 5x. Very good. From here, what would I do, Spencer?
Divide everything by -3.
Beautiful. I would divide everything through by -3. So notice there's nothing we need from this equation except what, Eli?
The 5/3.
The 5/3. And notice Eli said that that is positive 5/3. So let's read the question again. I know we are using the slope 5/3. I know it has to be parallel. But I also know it has to go through -4, 1. So we could use that point slope form that we did yesterday, or we could use y equals mx plus b. What do you guys want to try? I heard y equals mx plus b. A lot of you guys get stuck on that, which is great. At least you know it. So let's go ahead and use that. Our point y is what point?
1.
The 1. So remember, this xy is going to serve as our 1. Our slope is?
5/3.
Our x is? -4. Our b is what we are solving for. Welcome to Pre-Algebra Honors, where numbers do not look pretty any longer. So we actually have to do the math. We have 1 is equal to 5. Just kidding, I should erase that. -20 over 4. And I'm going to let you guys solve for b.
Is it over 3?
Oh, gosh, it is over 3. I'm going too fast. It's over 3. Thank you. How's that? Better? How do I write 1 equivalent to -20 over 3? I'll do old school, middle school math here. We're not even using a calculator. What's the equivalent fraction, something over 3 to 1?
3 over 3.
Yeah, so if this is 3 over 3 equals 20 over 3 plus b, what is b equal to?
-17.
23, we have to add it because it's subtracted. We're going to add it over. So we have our m, we have our b, we can write our final equation. Our final equation is y equals 5/3 x plus 23 over 3. Welcome to Pre-Calc, where none of the numbers are pretty anymore.
Yeah.
It probably will. I think the next one is perpendicular. All right, so notice they were super nice to us in example 8. They gave us 5x minus 3y equals 8, but they just asked us for perpendicular. We already solved for this, so I'm going to let you guys try this one on your own. What's the perpendicular slope? -3/5. Okay, I'm going to use this just because we haven't used this point slope form much, so I'm going to use it this time, okay? So y minus, my y sub 1 is what? 1, very good, is equal to -3/5 times x minus -4. Distribute for me, please, Fabella.
-3/5 x plus -12 fifths.
-12 Well, that's not very pretty. To bring that 1 over, I know it has the exact same fraction as 5. It's going to be -5/5, right? So how do I bring that over, guys? By adding it. So if I add that, my final answer is what, Victoria?
The final answer is y equals -3/5 x
-7/5. Again, welcome to Pre-Calc, where none of the numbers are pretty.